What's going on? It's your boy Super Drew, and this is another episode of Let's Talk About It. And I have with me today my co-host.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Reese _ not Witherspoon, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm here with Drew. I'll be co-hosting with him from now on, so we're going live.
Yeah, baby, we live. Baby. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about happiness because it's International Happiness Day. I brought Jazz on for the fact that she has a great story and it goes right into my philosophy and stuff like that. So we're going to turn over to Jazz. She's going to tell you about her story of pure bliss, man. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Yes, guys. I am in a state of happiness right now, and it's so amazing. It's such a great feeling to be where I am, especially seeing as, you know, I didn't start out as happy as I felt like I should have been. This past summer, for the first time, was living on my own by myself, away from my comfort zone, away from my friends, away from my siblings, my mom especially, who is like my best friend. That was actually my struggle summer. That summer for me was about growth and understanding and becoming and loving Jasmine, which is something I really struggled with. I didn't realize that, you know, a lot of times that I would get so busy or get so involved in different types of things so I wouldn't have to face the fact that I did not truly and honestly love myself or even understand myself or even knew how to be alone. Everything was tested that summer. Emotionally, mentally, physically. I lost love that summer. I lost friends. I lost relationships that were close to me. But what I gained out of all of that was a better sense of self, and I think I started to finally find my purpose in life. I took a break from all social medias. I didn't do Snapchat. I didn't do Instagram.
I saw that. That was tough.
That was really tough, especially for somebody like me who loves.
She just fell off the face of the earth, man.
And I really did, and it was, you know, and then, you know, I'm a person that does a lot of things for other people. Like, I take all of my relationships very seriously. So if you're my friend, like, once I love you, I always love you. Like, that's it. It's a wrap. You stuck with me.
Ego. It's a fact, not ego.
I like that. That's what I like. It was also challenging trying to find myself while still being there for everybody else. And I finally just had to make a choice and decide for myself that in order for Jasmine to be okay, Jasmine had to be selfish. And it's okay to be selfish sometimes because you can't be a use to anyone else if you aren't okay. So, fell off the face of the earth, like Drew said. No social media whatsoever. I already don't watch TV, but I didn't watch TV at all unless it was the
no
news.
Reality shows, man.
I
know.
No, please. Like, I really hate reality TV, but I didn't do any TV, no cartoons, no nothing. I had one solid show that I would watch on Netflix, and that was it. If I was not at work, then I was at home eating and just sitting and listening to music in solitude. And, you know, I used to like to read a lot, and that's something that I got away from. I used to try to expound on my vocabulary every day, and that was something I even got away from. For every bad habit I dropped, I picked up a better habit. So instead of picking up Snapchat or Instagram, I pick up a book. Or, you know, instead of flicking on the TV, you know, I go read the news. I wasn't allowed to watch TV if it wasn't benefiting me. I wasn't allowed to read anything if it wasn't benefiting me, you know, because there was my life started to get so consumed and so clouded by so much negativity that was going on in school. Man. So I had to make a change, you know, so I could have peace. So those relationships, that love that I thought that, you know, that I was broken by, I had to just let it go. Those grudges I was holding on to, I had to let it go.
Forgive and forget, man.
Forget. And that entire summer, I did nothing, and I came back to school refreshed and rejuvenated and like such a better person, and because I learned how to be alone. And because I learned how to be alone, I was able to learn how to be with other people. So, you know, when I stopped looking for myself or stopped looking for my purpose in other people, then I started to attract those things that I wanted for myself in other people. So then I was attracting people who were like-minded. I started attracting people who didn't want to turn up all the time. They wanted to actually have good, positive conversation. Or, you know, I started attracting people that benefited me. I started attracting intelligent people, wealthy people, people that, you know, could have helped me ultimately attain those goals that I was trying to reach in life.
It's all in the mind.
It's all in the mind. So when I came back to school, I was this whole new person, and things that used to bother me didn't bother me no more. It's like when you waste less energy on things that you can't control, the things that don't mean you no good, you are much happier.
Yeah.
And so that is where I am. I'm at a place, I'm at peace, I'm happy because I am so secure in myself that I don't need to look for validation in anybody else. I don't need understanding for anybody else, because Jasmine understands Jasmine, and I know how to love myself, and I know how to be alone. So now when a guy approaches me, I don't have to settle now, because I know my worth. All these years I was running from being alone, turns out that was the very thing I needed to do to take me and to elevate me to that next level. And that was the roadblock, you know, that was in front of me that I couldn't see.
You need that solitude in order to, you know, become that Superman, Superwoman, whoever you are.
To come in tune with yourself. I had to figure out what it was that I wanted. Figure out what it was in my life that I just did not need.
What was that key thing that you wanted? I know you're there now. Let's talk about that significant thing that you wanted so bad, that you wanted to the point, you know, you wanted to breathe.
I recently became a member, you know, of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated on November 20th, 2016, which was one of the greatest, most highly anticipated days in the history of Columbus State University.
Wait for it.
You know, that was something that I had wanted for so long. You know, when you're little and everybody always asks you, well, what do you want to do when you grow up, or what you want to be? And everybody, you know, at that time they know what they want to be, but they don't necessarily know what it is that they need to do to get there. Nobody tells you how to achieve your dreams, they just tell you to go for them. So
facts, not ego.
So, you know, coming in, I didn't know much about Greek life prior to coming into college or whatnot. Flyers went up the first time. I actually did not get accepted into my organization the first time around. It took me a second try, but one thing my mother always taught me, if there's anything that you want bad enough, you're gonna try and try again until you succeed. The first time around, you know, I attended Rush, and you know, I didn't get it, and instead of being broken about it, and instead of being sad and being hard on myself about it, I just reevaluated my life. I'm like, okay, so what it is do I need to do better so that the next time it will be unacceptable for me to get a no? Or what should I do to improve myself and make myself such an asset that they want me, that they need me? So I was able to look at myself and was like, well, Jasmine, you know, at this point in your life, what have you done to become an asset? What have you done? What legacy have you left? You know,
constructive criticism from yourself, not other people, because other people just trying to, like, you know, throw shots at you, trying to make you feel bad about yourself so they can feel good. So she was internally doing that, not externally, like looking for external things to, you know, say, point out her strengths and weaknesses.
Right, because
so
nobody knows you better than you.
Exactly.
Nobody knows you better than you. So I had to look and dig deep in within myself, and instead of, you know, taking the road once often traveled and just, you know, being all beat up like everyone else was, I was like, okay, it's grind time. You know, I know I'm gonna get one more shot. I knew I had one more shot before, you know, I graduated with my undergraduate degree, so it was grind time. I just didn't stop for nobody. I mean, I was a speaker of the Senate in SGA, I was a diversity peer educator, student ambassador at Columbus State, well, so I was a part of Collegiate Women. I have so many things that I've done since I've been here that I honestly could not keep count, and it wasn't even just in my school, it was in my community, within my work. Everything I lived, breathed, you know, excellence. Like, and it got to the point where I wasn't even doing it for that. I was doing it because I wanted an overall better quality of life.
Just being great, man.
I just wanted to be great.
Yeah.
You know, like, it got so much deeper than that I didn't want to do it for this set thing, because me making all these changes within my life is going to ultimately make me an overall better person. So whether or not I had it or not this time, I'm a way better person now than I was 2 years ago. And that's where I got to a point where I wasn't doing it for a thing, I was doing it for me, because I wanted to see myself be great, because I wanted to do all of these things and accomplish all of these different monumental things that is going to, you know, skyrocket me into the future. So that way, when I get to a point in my future where I finally decide on whatever that one thing is I want to be great at the time, you know, then I can do it without the shadow of a doubt. So when it came around the second time around, you know, I'm looking at my stats and I'm like, there's no way I'm not gonna get it this time.
Hey.
Like, there's no way. Like, I did everything right. Like, I'm just
no
like,
doubt,
they should be looking for me this time. Like, I don't even need to be looking. Like, that's how confident and that's how hard I had worked. Me as a person overall, I had improved. You know, I walk with a certain confidence now. You know, I talk different. I talk with confidence. Like, you weren't going to be able to tell Jasmine she couldn't do nothing, because in my mind I was so great. You know, there's nothing I couldn't accomplish if I didn't put my mind to it. That's how I had trained myself to be this beast.
You could knock her off her pedestal, man. She put herself there. It wasn't nobody else that was like, hey, you know, the Jasmine on this pedestal and stuff.
Right.
She put herself, she's like, hey, I'm here. I don't care who, what, whatever is like in the way. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? You gonna acknowledge me, you know what I'm saying?
Right, you know, and one thing, you know, I want to go ahead and lay out there, it was not overnight. None of my success, you know, a lot of people who didn't know me during my struggle stages, you know, may look at me and be like, oh, well, Jasmine got this, that, and the third. I worked for everything that I've gotten, and I worked in silence. That's why people are only now, you know, some people are starting to just now realize, you know, what I'm capable of or what I can do. That's because the things I do, I don't do for other people. I don't do it for recognition. I do it for me. And if you just so happen to recognize my greatness along the way, then so be it. But if you don't, so be it. It's not going to stop me from being great. Back to the story. So, you know, second time around, it came out. I thought that, you know, I didn't get it, you know, because all of my friends, you know, who are not my line sisters, they had all got it and I didn't at the moment, you know, but because I was impatient. Patience is something that...
Patience is key.
Patience is key. I was impatient, you know, because I was just like, I was just so ready and I was so hyped up and I was so amped and I was so excited that I wasn't patient. And so, you know, everybody else, and this another thing, that's another lesson that I learned. Stop worrying about everybody else and stay in your own lane. Had I stayed in my own lane and wasn't worried about nobody else, I wouldn't even known that they were getting the things that I felt like I should have had, or they were getting the things that I felt like that I wanted or that I worked hard for and they got. If I was staying in my own lane, I wouldn't have had none of those emotions. I could have saved myself a lot of pain.
Hey, the trick is to care about other people, but just not to care about what they think, because what they think does not matter. It's what you think. As a man thinketh, so in his heart is he.
Right. That, and you don't need self-validation from nobody else to make you
Facts.
You know, so I was really broken. I was at my lowest point of my lows because
just gave up.
I just gave up. And you know, if you ever worked for something so hard that you felt like you deserved it without a shadow of a doubt, and all of a sudden it was snatched away from you, and that's what I felt like I was facing. Like I had nowhere to go. I didn't even know how to feel. I couldn't cry. I couldn't be happy. I was just numb because I felt like I had literally done everything right and set everything up that there shouldn't have been no room for, you know, a room for any mess ups or anything like that, or any room for any doubt. This is another reason why I value my friendship so much. I had, you know, friends who were still like not giving up on me, or friends who still, you know, was like didn't want me to give up on myself. And I did give up on myself, you know, but because I have such a strong support system, my friends, they didn't allow me to give up on myself. They didn't allow me to throw myself a pity party. They didn't allow any of this. And they, you know, in all honesty, they picked me up and carried me across the finish line. And those are people you want in your circle.
Cause you don't do pity parties. I don't do pity parties. If you my friend, you know if you go come to me, you gonna want some solutions and you gonna follow. It's not like you gonna be out here like, hey Drew, let me vent to you. I'm gonna give you about, you know, a little one session where you vent, and I'm gonna tell you, you know, suggestions. But no, we're not talking about the same thing over and over again, bro. I'm not doing it with you. Go talk to somebody else, you know what I'm saying?
And I gave you my advice. This is what it is. This is what I needed to give you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing for you, you know. And that's the type of person I am. But being broken in that state, I allowed that what I thought was a failure to define who I was. Because I had failed at one thing, I now looked at myself as a failure. Because I didn't achieve this thing when I felt like I should have achieved it, I took that as an L. And so all of those things, you know, came back and honestly coming back into play to just teach you the lesson of, you know, patience. And if you want something, you continue to work hard at it. And so, you know, this whole day I'm walking around moping and I'm just sad. And, you know, then I get home and my friends was like, Jazz, you know, what, you know, do you have any good news or this, that, and the third? And, you know, I look again and there my blessing was sitting in my email box. That level of happiness I really could not describe. It was really something special that you would have had to have seen. When I had finally got that news, first of all, it took me so long to actually accept that reality because I was like, I was confused, I was lost, I was overwhelmed with emotion. And in all honesty, I froze. If you ever seen what a deer looks like caught in the headlights, that was me. I did not move, and I don't even think I was breathing, honestly, in that point.
She was a deer in headlights for real. Like, she's like, when she opened the door and she see like balloons and stuff, like people trying to surprise her, and she just like, you know, y'all some cruel human beings. Y'all some savages right now. Like, why would y'all do this to me? And just to get that email, like, you know, it took somebody who's like pretty. What would you say? Like, she's like really nonchalant. Like, she doesn't care.
Yes, it took somebody, because my friend, you know, was much like me, you know, and the reason that, you know, I didn't believe it, because I had turned, like I said, I had kind of pretty much turned myself away from everything. So I wasn't checking emails, I wasn't checking nothing. I had to made it up in my mind that I was a failure already. And it took a person who was not emotional at all, you know, somebody who, you know, don't get me wrong, you know, she's loving, but she doesn't show emotion. To see her in such a vulnerable state with me, trying to bring me to this realization that I had, you know, achieved something great, you know, it's like a veil was lifted. I finally was able to see what she was trying to tell me. And I honestly broke down. If you've ever been in church and you've seen those ladies who just, you know, just starting to get the shouting and the hollering, and it's like a spirit just overcomes them, and it just, that was me. That was me. Something, you know, like my whole body got weak and I melted to the floor, and it took my friends to hold me up as I was weeping and crying, like just bawling my eyes out. I could not breathe. My heart was beating fast. I was hot everywhere. And that, all of that was just nothing but pure happiness. I don't think I've ever in my life cried tears of joy, ever. And it was the first time I had genuinely been happy, because it's like to have worked so hard for something and to put your all into everything, to put everything that you are into something that you want, whether you take those chances and you take those risks that you may fail, but because you want it so bad, you putting all your chips in one basket, because it's like, I want it, so I'm not leaving no room for failure. I'm not leaving room for no option of me not to achieve my dreams. And so that feeling of finally letting yourself be that vulnerable to your dreams and to, you know, your wishes, and then to finally get it was just something so amazing.
Hey, I'm already in pain. Like, somebody don't pay me. I'm getting some kind of like recommendation, something. Somebody gonna acknowledge the fact I'm out here, you know what I'm saying, trying to be great. Like, you gonna acknowledge me.
Yes, and then just to finally get it was just so great. And so, you know, on November 20th, 2016, you know, my probate day was like one of my proudest moments. And
she turned up. If y'all know anything about sororities or anything like that, or probate, you know what I'm saying, she was a tail. So, you know, if you the tail, you gotta be live. She was all the way live, like all the way live, like for real.
And you know, and it wasn't, and that was just solely because I felt it. And I actually, you know, received a standing ovation at my probate, and it wasn't because I was just live. It's because those people felt my passion. Those people in the audience felt how hard I worked for. That people in the audience felt how much I appreciated being where I was because I had worked so hard. Like, my mother and my sister were in the audience, like, just boohoo crying, because they was like, man, she really showed out. Like, nobody was gonna tell me I wasn't happy to be here. Like, nobody wasn't gonna tell me I ain't work hard, or I didn't work hard to get to where I was. That's something that I would love for everybody to experience, you know, and that just goes to say, I want to tell people, do not give up on your dreams. If it is something that you truly want, and if it is something that you really want to, like, get out there, do it without any fear. Do it with, you know, just don't think about it. Just want something so bad, like you want it as bad as you want to eat, or you need to eat. You want it as bad as you want to breathe. No success and nothing great comes overnight. None of my success was overnight. None of these titles I hold, none of these positions, nothing great in my life was handed to me. Nothing great came from me just, you know, honestly sitting on my ass all day. I had to get out and I had to work for it. I had to work for everything that I've got. And when you work so hard for something, you gain a better overall appreciation for it. And so I'm at a point in my life where I'm actually content. And content does not mean complacent. I'm content with where I am.
Not satisfied. Like,
I'm not satisfied because I'm always hungry. But at the moment in my life, for me to be 23 years old and to be out here on my own and doing all of these great things, big accomplishments, I'm content with where I'm at. And, you know, a lot of people's problem is, you know, when they're out here achieving and they're out here doing these great things, people don't know how to give themselves credit. It's okay. You giving yourself credit does not mean that you're not humble. Giving yourself credit means that you acknowledge that you are great and that you are achieving. And, you know, sometimes you do have to pat yourself on the back because sometimes nobody else is going to do it for you. You have to acknowledge that you're great and acknowledge yourself to push yourself. You need to motivate yourself. I'm self-made. I'm self-motivated. Nobody needs to, you know, tell Jasmine this, that, and the third. No, Jasmine is a self-motivated person. She's a self-motivated individual. And that's how I get everything done. So just have patience and faith in your grind. Have patience and faith in your grind. Have patience and faith in yourself. And if you want something, do not give up, no matter how hard the road gets, no matter how tough the road gets.
Man, it doesn't matter like if somebody is telling you something. Like if you feel like you don't have anybody you can like rely on or anything like that, like keep it to yourself. Like keep it to yourself. It's okay. You don't have to tell everybody what you're doing, because a lot of people, they want to tell you why it can't be done. And a wise man once said, a person that's attempting to do something should never be distracted by somebody who says that it can't be done, because it will just distract them from what they're trying to do. Like J. Cole said, man, like if they don't know your dreams, man, they cannot shoot them down. So while you're out here trying to tell people what you're doing and you're trying to be great, you got to realize that everybody doesn't have that same energy and that same passion that you have for what you're doing. It's your dreams, not nobody else's dream. So when you tell them about it, they're like, oh, you out here got pipe dreams and stuff like that, because somebody told them that, you know, they had pipe dreams. Just looking at it on the standpoint of somebody who has been in a situation where you have this thought, this idea, and you like, I can do this. I'm just gonna put it to a little story, you know, that little side story on this. Coming into college, you know, I was pretty much breaking stereotypes, you know what I'm saying? I had dropped out. I was like, you know, I was like Kanye, man, you know what I'm saying? I decided I was finished, man. So, you know, to come back like 2 years or whatever out of the game, you know what I'm saying? Come back, make Dean's List. Like, nobody's doing that. To be black, you know, just to say black as far as like somebody labeling me based on my skin color, because, you know, it's just all labels that society has given us. So that's just like amazing, man. It's
very amazing, you know, and we were very shocked, you know, as friends, because I've actually known Drew for years now, since our freshman year of college, actually. So since back in 2012. Day ones, man. So it was very amazing. Like, you know, we used to worry about Drew. Like, Drew transferred, and he actually went to another school, and then he just decided altogether that school just wasn't for Drew. And, you know, so I think I want to say for for about like 2 years, we didn't really, you know, see him or speak to him. But that's because Drew was going through, you know, his own journey. You know, he had his own, you know, path that he was supposed to walk, you know, by himself or whatnot. You know, but then when he came back a whole new person, you know. But that's because, again, what we were talking about earlier, you know, Drew had to go find Drew. Drew had to go
by Drew's self. Like,
Drew had to go by himself.
A lot of people couldn't realize who I become. It was like, hey, bro, you know who? You know, if it's like modern terms or whatever, they be like, oh, you know, they cloned my boy Drew, man. They get a whole new person. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. You think I'm a clone now because I'm just so evolved.
But it's because we didn't understand, and that's sometimes something else that, you know, people who find or reach this certain level, you know, of their quality of life that other people may not understand. So in order for him to continue to progress, you know, he had to, you know, be around himself, especially since he was the only person that understood himself and understood what he was trying to do. So, you know, after, you know, he made those accomplishments and he did what he needed to do to get him where he needed to go, you know, he came back and he came to school. And like I said, he came back a whole different person. He was wiser. He was more, you know, chill. You know, he was just a overall better individual. And, you know, in all essence, he was happier because Drew didn't need nobody to tell him how to feel. Drew didn't need nobody to, you know, tell him what it was he needed. Drew was secure with who he was. And so, and you can definitely tell that, you know, people who are secure with themselves do, you know, seem to live a better life.
A solitude life, man. It's like you just be by yourself and people call you antisocial. So if anybody's out there calling you antisocial, you know, just like take it with a grain of salt, man. Take it on the chin and be like, you know, antisocial people, you know, are eventually called geniuses, you know what I'm saying? So that's just something that you gotta keep in mind. Keep that faith. Keep that you know. Keep that energy. That ambition that you know you're gonna pretty much get to that end result of what you're trying to get to, and people gonna start to realize what you was talking about, and then they gonna wonder like, you know, how they do it, and then you tell them the same thing that you was telling them while you was going through the whole process. Then now they see like, oh yeah, that is true, you know. But if you have any questions, any comments, man, leave them down below. We would love to interact with you guys. And this has been another episode of Let's Talk About It.